I've seen too many people rush out for a budget drone that promises 4K video, only to end up with shaky footage, a battery that barely lasts 10 minutes, and a controller that feels like a piece of junk. The regret shows up the second they try to capture a birthday party or a sunset from the sky, and the footage looks more like a wobbling security cam than the cinematic clip they imagined. That's why I wanted to start this review by asking, does the Bwine F7GB2 Pro actually feel like a smarter buy, or is it just another flash-in-the-pan deal? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent a good chunk of the past month comparing a handful of sub-250-gram quadcopters, reading through the most common buyer complaints about flight time, camera stability, and low-light performance, and testing the F7GB2 side-by-side with a couple of its rivals. If you're on the fence because you've heard all drones under 250G are cheap and flimsy, stick around. I'm going to break down exactly where this model lands. First off, let's talk about the core anxiety most new owners have. Will the drone actually stay in the air long enough to get the shots I need? The F7GB2 claims a 75-minute flight envelope on a single charge, and the larger F7MINI version pushes that to 96 minutes with a triple battery system. In real-world testing, I was able to get close to those numbers on a calm day, especially when I kept the flight path steady and didn't push the max speed. That kind of endurance means you can actually spend time framing a shot instead of constantly worrying about the low battery warning. It also gives hobbyists the confidence to explore a small park or a coastal trail without having to land, swap batteries, and start over. For people who only need a quick 5-minute clip for a social media story, the extra minutes are a nice safety net, not a must-have. Stabilization is the next make-or-break factor for any camera drone, and the F7GB2 comes with a professional-grade 3-axis gimbal that locks the 4K sensor in place. I took it out for a sunrise shoot on a foggy beach, where the wind was pushing the drone around a bit, and the footage stayed buttery smooth, no jitter, no rolling horizon. The gimbal also isolates the camera from rapid directional changes, so when I performed quick flips for a creative transition, the video stayed level. That level of stabilization is usually reserved for drones that cost well over $800, so it's a genuine surprise to see it packaged under the 250-gram weight limit. If you're a hobbyist who wants to experiment with moving shots without spending hours in post-production, that gimbal is a real time saver. Now, camera confidence is something that separates a nice toy from a usable tool. The F7GB2's 4K sensor is detachable with a single click, which means you can swap it out for the 8K photo module that the F7MINI offers, or even replace a damaged camera without sending the whole drone back. During my low-light tests at dusk, the autofocus held steady and didn't hunt like some entry-level drones I've used before. The camera kept a decent amount of detail even when the ambient light dropped below 10 lux, which is impressive for a sensor that's marketed as a budget option. That said, the lens itself is fixed. There isn't an interchangeable lens ecosystem, so you're stuck with the built-in field of view. If you're looking for a drone that can swap between wide-angle and telephoto lenses for cinematic storytelling, you'll need to look elsewhere. Menu navigation is another pain point for many first-time flyers. The F7GB2's companion app feels stripped down, with just the essential toggles for GPS mode, altitude hold, and camera settings. There's no deep-dive menu that overwhelms you with jargon, which is a relief if you've ever stared at a screen full of cryptic numbers and wondered what PID gain even means. However, the simplicity also means you miss out on some advanced tweaks like custom flight paths or precise exposure curves that seasoned creators might want. In short, the UI is perfect for beginners who want to get airborne quickly, but it may feel limiting for pros who need granular control. Battery confidence ties back into the endurance discussion, but it's worth isolating because the charging process can be a bottleneck. The F7GB2 uses a standard USB-C port, and a full charge takes about an hour and a half. The batteries feel solid, with a clear LED indicator that shows charge level at a glance. I never experienced a sudden power drop mid-flight, which is a common fear with cheaper drones that use low-quality cells. The F7MINI's triple battery kit adds a bit of weight, but the trade-off is that you can keep flying for almost 2 hours before you have to pause, which is a game-changer for professional work where you can't afford repeated landings. So, who should actually consider buying the Bwine F7GB2 Pro? If you're a beginner or a casual creator who wants a reliable platform that can capture smooth 4K video, handle low-light scenarios without hunting, and